Welcome back. Now that I finally got caught up on analyzing my backlog of Lichess Rapid games, I can analyze them one at a time after I play them. I did play one last night, and spoiler alert, I lost it, but I'm going to try to find out why. Now, according to the graph on the game, which I have pulled up here, I did have a couple of brief leads, and my opponent had a couple of brief leads in between those before I gave it away slowly but surely at the end, or quickly but surely as the case might be. All I've seen is the graph. I'm going to go through the high points and the low points and see what I could have done differently. Hopefully you'll get something out of this, and I know several of you suggested that I play the 4-knight Scotch, and I finally got a chance. After I played knight to c3, my opponent did play knight to f3, and so I was able to play d4. Just to back up a little bit, this is how it went here. Here, usually what happens in this situation is I get the opponent bringing their bishop out here, and then I cannot, even if I want to, play the 4-knight Scotch. But this time, the opponent did play knight to f6, so I was able to play d4, which is the 4-knights game Scotch variation. And since I've only got to play it a couple of times, I really don't know any theory beyond I should be okay after this point. And according to Stockfish, it's dead even here. It's my game to lose. It is by far the most common move for black to take this pawn in this position, and Stockfish says it's slightly better than any other choice they have. My opponent did take it, and I'm supposed to take back with the knight. That's the only move that keeps me above zeros here, so that's what I did. Now, there were several moves here that keep us between +1 and -1. The top move recommended by the engine is bishop to b4, and very close to that is just taking this knight on here on... No, I apologize, not taking this knight. I have trouble reading these things sometimes. That's the top move. The second move is taking the pawn on e4, which I'm surprised by because I would take back, and they would have gotten a pawn for a knight. That doesn't seem good for them, but that is the second best move according to the engine. It says if we played into, whoops, wow, my arrows are all messed up. If they took here and I took back, Stockfish says they would put their queen on e7, and then I would protect the knight with f3. And the third best move is to put the bishop here, which I guess in that case, I would just defend that knight with this bishop here. Okay, I assumed my opponent was going to take this knight. I think that's what happened the last time I tried to play this, but they didn't. They played there, thinking, I guess, that they didn't want to take the knight because I would take back, and they didn't want my queen sitting there in the center of the board protecting this pawn, and they didn't want to leave it there because if I took it, I guess they were worried about me messing up their pawn structure, which I think would have been okay for them, but that's a blunder for some reason. And why is it a blunder? Because I didn't take advantage of it. This is the really early lead that I had that I then gave right back. Stockfish says there are two moves that take advantage that keep me at +2. One is bishop to g5, which pins that knight to the queen. And the other is f4, which is kind of like, almost like a king's gambit or a Vienna gambit in a sense, except somehow that knight's way over there now. And it says when I did that, their best move would be to put that knight back where it came from. I don't know that they would. They clearly didn't want it there with my knight pointed at that square, which is why they moved it here in the first place. It looks safe. But yeah, I can either play bishop to g5, f4, and even a3 gives me a little bit, keeps me at +1 or higher. Okay, well, I'll admit here, I knew as soon as I let go of my piece on this next move that I had blundered, and that's because they can just take it. So I can't explain this move, my next move. It's just a flat-out blunder. And I definitely, in a 10-minute game, shouldn't have played that quickly. But my opponent didn't take it. They played that. That's only a blunder because it didn't take advantage of my blunder. We're at even now. I don't have a lead because of their blunder. There's different kinds of blunders. One is the blunder that takes your lead and gives it away, which is what my opponent just did. The other is what I just did, which is take a lead. I have a lead here, and I gave my opponent a huge advantage. Well, now I need to do something with this. What's my best move? Oh, to go back here with it. And my second best move is to go back there. That's what I did. Okay. Well, here in just a little bit, I gave my opponent an advantage again. Let's just go to that point. We played some moves that were all relatively normal. We're still very close to even here. They've, of course, got two knights guarding this, and it's pointed at my queen. So I should just move my queen, right? The top move listed by Stockfish is knight d to e2. I don't know why the other knight down there isn't an option. It's not one of the top three, which would be knight c to e2. That one's not listed for some reason. Only this one, of course, blocking that attack. The engine says it'd be fine if I just moved up, but not over. Again, not sure why. Why would just moving over one be bad? I don't know. But moving up would be fine. I didn't consider that, I think, because blocking the bishop square. The third best move is what I played, And according to this move list, it's not even counted as inaccurate. But I found a way to block that. And of course, this pawn's protecting it, my queen's protecting it, and my rook. So I know they can come in here with their knight and or their bishop, but I'm going to win that, right? I guess not. But yeah, that wasn't counted as inaccurate, but it should have been, or even a mistake possibly. I mean, that's why this is better. I get that, because the knight hits this square and nothing hits this square. And then after that, I could move my queen, I guess. I don't know why I didn't consider that, but I considered this. But yeah, now my opponent has an advantage if they take with their knight, which they did. And I messed up here by taking with the wrong piece. So this time it was counted as a mistake. You can see it in the move list right there beside my face. And I should have taken with the pawn to maintain the -1. But I think what I did here was some bad math. Because in the past, when I've castled and they have a bishop and a knight pointed at the f2 pawn, like there's a bishop here and there's a knight there, and one of them takes that f2 pawn and I take with my rook and they take with the other one and I take with my king, we come out even. Or I might even be slightly ahead because I gave up a rook and a pawn for 2 pieces. And I think that's what my brain thought was happening here. But I've already lost a knight. So it's not the same as a pawn and a rook for 2 pieces. It's 2 pieces, and one of them's more important than theirs. So yeah, I shouldn't have taken with the rook, but I did. And they shouldn't have taken back with their bishop. That's weird. That's not one of their top 3 moves. Rook to e8 or queen to e7 are their best 2 moves according to the engine, and b5 is their 3rd best move. Really? Okay, I'm with my opponent on this one. I would tell you their name, except I'm not sure how to pronounce what they've typed there. I would have taken the rook if I were them. And here it is also still better to take with the pawn, but I did not. I took with my queen. So we're back to -3. So my opponent is ahead for just a little bit, and then they start giving it back. We're still at -3, but they weren't supposed to take that. Again, they're supposed to move their rook to e8 or their queen to e7 or play knight to d7. I don't know why. It was a mistake for them to take, and of course I can take back, but I don't know. I don't understand the difference. Well, regardless, I'm not here to analyze my opponent's moves. It was my best move to take back. Let's just go to the next point. We got closer and closer to even here, even though my opponent wasn't making mistakes anymore, other than that one pawn move. And now we're within the -1+1 threshold, or range near 0 that I count as basically even. Now we're almost even. That was an inaccuracy. That was an inaccuracy. And now we're even. Okay, I did not play one of my better moves here. It's not listed, but it's also not listed as even an inaccuracy to go there. I'm not sure why that was bad, but I'm also not sure why I did it. I think I was worried about them maybe coming here to get behind this pawn, and I'm shielding that pawn from a rook can't protect that now. I think that was my thinking there, plus I'm lining up on this pawn. Now they're supposed to bring their queen back, which is several times Stockfish kept saying, move there with the queen, but they didn't. But now it's still saying e7 is where the queen belongs. Again, I don't know why, but we're not here to analyze their moves, but what they played was bad. That was bad because it goes after my bishop, and it's because I can, only one move gives me the +6, and that's this one, the bishop to g3, which their queen is trapped. They've trapped their queen. That's why that's bad. If they go back here, I take with my queen, but they found the only move that keeps it at +6. Any other move is much worse than this one. Now if I take their queen, they take mine. And I messed up again. So this was a very brief lead that I had here in the middle of the game. Now I understand my first 2 blunders. We already covered them, or mistakes, whatever they were. The first one where I just put my bishop out there where they could take it, I know why that's bad. My second one was where I traded the rook and the knight for their bishop and their knight. That was bad. I get that now. I should have put the knight on e2. I get it. Now this one, I'm not sure. Just looking at the move list, because it says my best move is queen to e4. The only move that maintains this +5.9. Why is e4 better than what I played? My second best move, which I would have maintained a very slight advantage, would be to take the queen, and then I assume they would take mine. My third best move would be to drop back to e2. But this is the only one that maintains this huge advantage that I've got. It says if I did play queen to e4, they would just drop their queen back to h5. And is that why? Because it says my next move would be e6, putting my queen behind that, but I mean, my bishop's already on it. I don't know. Okay, I guess maybe part of the problem with what I played, which is queen to e4, is that I'm no longer protecting the bishop, but I was still protecting this one. And I thought, I'm kind of pinning that pawn. Sorry, that's not what I played. I don't know why when I clicked the next button, it went to the, can I click next and get the move that I made? Okay. I don't know why sometimes when you click next, it plays the imaginary move, And sometimes when you click next, it plays your move. I have no idea. But anyway, that's the move that I played. And that broke the flow here, what little flow I have in my videos. But yeah, I don't know why this is worse than that, but it's a lot worse. And now we're even. Had I gone here, I would be +6. But now we're even because they can play queen to g5. Queen to h5 gives me an advantage again. I don't know. What's the difference? They played there. My opponent found that. I mean, maybe by accident. I don't know. And I'm not supposed to trade. Why? Oh, it's because I'm still down on material. The only move... No, that's not really my only move. Several moves keep us near even, but going to where I should have gone in the first place is fine. Rook to f1 is fine. Or queen to f1 is fine. Well, I can tell you why I decided to trade. I didn't think too hard about it, but I thought, what happens? What's the consequence if I trade? The consequence is they get a doubled pawn here, and then my bishop's blocking both of them. I thought I would be okay, but apparently not. Apparently I shouldn't have traded here. But let's just say I picked one of those moves. Wouldn't they have then just pushed this pawn forward? And then here? And then where does my bishop go? Oh, I guess my bishop could go there. But then they have pawns all the way down here. That's not... Like, as much as I like to befriend people that are different than me, this is an opponent. This person's trying to take my king. I don't want their pawns down there. They can't be my friends right now. So trading was an inaccuracy. Gives my opponent an advantage. Of course, they take back. E6 was my best move. It was their best move to take, which I thought they were going to. I thought they were going to take, and then I would take back, and their king would just get out of check, and then I was going to take this pawn. And that's what the top line says. And my opponent would have had an advantage had they done that, but instead they did this, which allows me to take their pawn with check. Was that my best move? It was. Okay, so we're back to even now. They're supposed to take the pawn with the rook, which they did, and I'm not supposed to take it? Oh my. I thought I was supposed to take it because I would go back up the exchange. I've been down an exchange this entire time. If you can see the little symbol and, see the little symbol and number right here next to their clock. They've been up +2 for a while. And it's because the bishop and knight and rook thing down here, they've been up the exchange. And here I can go back up the exchange. But that's not one of my best moves. Okay, so I think this is another one that well, this isn't a blunder. This move's not even listed as a blunder, but it's weird that that's not one of my top 3. Bishop to f2, Stockfish says, or rook to f1, Stockfish says. Wait, what? Rook to f... That's f1, right? Oh, because their rook is pinned. Okay, sorry, for a second there I thought, wait, that gives up mate. But no, their rook is pinned. Okay, so I should have put pressure on the pinned piece. I get that. I don't know what bishop to f2 does other than pin that pawn, but I don't think it pins the pawn, because they could just move the pawn. And then if I took their bishop, then they keep coming. But I guess I could stop it. No, I don't know. Maybe it does pin the pawn. Or b4. What does b4 do? Oh, if they took it, then I would get their pawn. Okay. I get that. This rook can't go anywhere. I can just leave it there. But I took it. Wait, that didn't lose me much. Okay, no wonder it wasn't counted as inaccurate. But again, I thought we were going up the exchange. They take back with the king. I'm supposed to come up one. Okay, I get that my bishop is guarding this square, so their rook can't back rank me, but I'm very unlikely to take a rook off the back rank while my king is back there and stuck. And that thing I just said, if I remember right how this game ended, that I just lied, because I think I did get my rook off the back rank. Spoiler alert again. But you already know I lost. Okay, so I checked. That's their best move. This is very weird. This looks like it's from a made-up puzzle, doesn't it? It might be from a puzzle. They only have one move that maintains... Sorry, it's my turn. I only have one move that keeps us close to even, and it's not the move I made. Rook to e1 is the only move. I don't understand why. Why not rook to d1? That's my second best move. And that's what I played, but it's a blunder. Let's back up. Maybe, and I'm guessing here, if one of you knows or has a better understanding, feel free to let me know in the comments. But after seeing the resulting position and what my opponent did and what Stockfish recommended, I think that the reason this is better is because it strongly encourages a rook trade. That's the only move on my opponent's part that would maintain what little that they had. I think if I had played rook to e1, no, sorry, they have multiple moves here. Rook to e3 or taking are their two best moves. But they could just move over and they'd be okay. Okay, so no, it's not. So I did misunderstand. Okay. But for me, the reason that rook to e1 is the best move is because they might take, and if they do, I'll take back. And then we don't have rooks on the board. Whereas, what I played, what this does is allow this. And in this case, that is their only move that takes the advantage that I just gave them. And that's because where I am here doesn't keep them from coming in and aiming at all these pawns. And if I move one of them, then they can get the other one. And if I move another one, they can get that one, and so forth. I don't think there's any way they can get the far one on the next turn, but they're going to get one of those two. But if I had played rook to e1, they can't come here and hit those pawns because they would lose their rook. So they're either going to take me or come up here and trying to encourage a passed pawn if I decide to trade for them, even though I am guarding the promotion square. Although I don't know if I can get there once that pawn moves, my king can't get out because of their bishop. Okay, but anyway, I think I understand why that's slightly better than what I played, which was this. And my opponent did play their only move, which is to go after those pawns. I'm supposed to play b4 again. What does b4 do? It says they wouldn't take this time. Last time when it said b4, it said they would take. But that's because last time then I would take this pawn. But now I can't take, oh no, my bishop's still guarding that square. Wow, never mind. But their bishop would be guarding that square too if they took my pawn. And now that's not listed as my top move anymore. Rook to c1 is my top move. I thought my top move would be to play this pawn, and that was bad, so I'm getting further behind here. And they are supposed to take it, which they did. Am I supposed to take back? Yes. And are they supposed to take my a pawn? Yes. Well, they did get that pawn really quickly, didn't they? But now my opponent is up -4, and the only way I can maintain that is to play h3 or h4. Nope, h4 has dropped. It's come back up. But h3 is the undisputed top move here for me. I guess that's because of this. Their bishop is cutting off my king's escape. And if I play h3 and they take it, and I'll take back, and then my king has an escape route. Well, no, it doesn't, because the rook's guarding that. What? Well, even if I had thought about or considered h3 or h4, which I didn't, even if I had thought about those, I don't think I would have played them because of what I just said. They're going to take, and I'm going to take back, and then my king can't move at all because their rook will be cutting off those two squares, and their bishop's cutting off that one. And that's not good for my king. I mean, I know my king wants breathing room, and that's maybe one reason to get rid of the pawns, but that doesn't give him breathing room. The opponent still has the king trapped. Okay, but my third best move is bishop to e5, which, it guards that pawn. I didn't think of that. Well, what I played was... No, that's not what I played. Why does it keep doing that? Well, anyway, what I played was bad because I left the back rank. My opponent now has a checkmate. So I told you earlier when I said taking the rook off the back rank, I never do it when... What I meant to say was that I'm hesitant to do it when I have these pawns here, but at some point, once their rook got run over there, I guess I forgot about it. And I thought, oh no, they're just going to go around getting all my pawns. Maybe I should get some of theirs. And my opponent should have checked me here. That's their best move by far, because I have to block and they'll take it. And then I have to block here and they'll take that too. And that's checkmate. But they didn't play that. They worried about their pawn that I attacked. They did that. Well, my best move now is h3. Oh, it's changed his mind again. My best move is to bring the rook back. Nope, h3. Stockfish isn't sure how to stop this mating sequence. h3 or rook to d1, one of those two moves. Yeah, I should have found one of those. And had I been presented with this list, I would have chosen rook to d1, I think, not h3, because aforementioned reasons. But instead, guess what I did? I did that. That attacks this pawn with two pieces. So I'm going to win that pawn. And in fact, I would have won that pawn if not for that. So I can't take the pawn now. I had to block. I did block, and then they checkmated me. So the reason I lost the game, lost, was because I took my rook off the back rank while my king was trapped. I never made any getaway squares for my king. But the reason that I gave away, the reason that I lost my advantage, I still don't understand. I don't know why queen to e4 is so much better. So if any of you know the difference between queen to e4 and queen to f4, which is what I played, I also don't know why queen to e4 is so much better than trading queens here. Because I almost traded queens here, and the only reason I didn't trade queens here is because of that advantage that my opponent still had a little bit of. And the only reason that I did trade queens here was because I thought it would be damaging to my opponent to have these pawns doubled and their king opened up like that. I thought that would help me out. But back here, yeah, why are these two moves so different? I think that's my main question of this video, which I'm done with now. If you know the answer, let me know. Oh, one more question. If you happen to play on Lichess a lot, do you know why sometimes when you click next, it does the move you should have played? See, there it played the move that I did play. But when I was going through this the first time and I clicked next, it played the move I should have played. And I don't know, is that because I hovered over the line right here where it says queen to e4? Or hovered over this line? Because when I click next, it did that. I can't get it to do queen to e5 now. Or queen to e4, which is what it did earlier. Is it because I was pressing like control or something? Let me figure that out. Nope. What about Alt? Nope. What about Shift? Nope. Okay, I can't get it to do what it did earlier, which is play that. Now I know if I click on this or that, it will play it. But earlier I clicked next. Oh, it's hidden behind my camera view. Okay, well, I can't repeat it. And it's one way to solve bugs or whatnot is to find out the steps that it takes to reproduce that problem. I can't figure it out right now, but if one of you knows, let me know, because I don't want it to do that anymore. Okay, well, I have dropped below 1600 on Lichess and Rapid, so I'm doing worse on Lichess on average than I'm doing on chess.com in all the categories. Not comparing the numbers directly. Obviously, we know that the numbers are higher for our ratings on Lichess because they use a different rating system, in case you're not aware. But based on how they used to track with each other, my chess.com ratings in almost all categories are going up recently, but my Lichess ones seem to be tanking. Thank you for spending your time here. I'll see you next time.